Shalom to my brothers and sisters who are in the body of YAHUWAH HaMashiach, and this is a continuation of Yahuwah's calendar, part 18. And the title of this lesson is The Two Events That Affected Time. So on the previous video, we had talked about the battle of the 5 kings at Gibeon and the die of Ahaz. These two events affected the time. So we're going to go to the book of Joshua, chapter 10, and read verses 12 through 15. But before we start, I would like for you to write down these verses first. Write down Antiquities, chapter 5, verse 1. Antiquities, book 5, chapter 1, verse 17. Looking at section 61. Then Joshua chapter 10, verse 12 to 14. Isaiah chapter 28, verse 21. The Ben Sira chapter 46, verse 4. That's in the Apocrypha. The book of Habak chapter 3, verse 11. And then dealing with the Tao of Ahaz. Write down Antiquities chapter 10, book 10, chapter 2, section 1, 24 to 29. 2 Chronicles chapter 32, verses 24 to 26. 2 Kings chapter 20, verse 1 and 8 to 12. For note, we will be reading 2 Kings chapter 20 in this lesson. Then Isaiah chapter 38, verse 1 to 22. 2 Chronicles chapter 32, verse 31. And also read from the same chapter, verses 24 to 33. And from the previous lesson, to understand the mystery of time, read Daniel chapter 2, verse 21. Mathew chapter 24, verse 22. And Mark chapter 13, verse 20. And another thing I would like to add to this lesson is, far as the days being shortened, we need to also look at the age of man now. From the beginning of time, man used to live a long time. But as according to the Most High Word, in Genesis chapter 6, man can only live up to 120 years. And you would see that to be evident when you follow the ages of our forefathers in the book of Genesis and throughout the Bible. You can see their age start to decrease, especially more after the flood, from 900 years to 120 years. So let us now go to the book of Joshua, chapter 10, verse 12 through 15. Verse 12 through 14. Then spake Joshua to YAHUWAH in the day when YAHUWAH delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon. I do need to make a correction. I meant to say Yahushua, because at the time the Most High did not go with them to conquer the land. He sent an angel to bear his name, and that was Yahuwah HaMashiach, and you can read it in the book of Exodus, chapter 23. But let us proceed on. Verse 13. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and has not to go down about a whole day. And there was no day like that before it or after it, that the Most High hearkened unto the voice of a man, for the Most High fought for Israel. So the Most High sent his son Yahushua to carry out these orders for him. Now, to figure out how long that daylight was lengthened, we can find that answer in the Apocrypha. So let us go there now. We're going to Ben Sira, chapter 46, verse 4. Okay, Ben Sirah, chapter 46, verse 4. Did not the sun go back by his means, and was not one day as long as two? So when it's talking about day, in this particular verse, my people, it's talking about daylight. So when the moon and the sun stood still, that was during the daylight time. So the daylight became as long as 2 days of daylight. Okay? So we'll look at the second event that affected time, and we'll be going to 2 Kings chapter 20. And we're going to read verses 8 through 12. And Hezekiah said unto Isaiah, What shall the sign that the Most High will heal me, and that I shall go up into the house of the Most High the third day? And Isaiah said, This sign shall thou have of the Most High, that the Most High will do the thing that he hath spoken. Shall the shadow go forward 10 degrees, or go back 10 degrees? And Hezekiah answered, It is a light thing for the shadow to go down 10 degrees. Nay, but let the shadow return backwards 10 degrees. And Isaiah the prophet cried unto the Most High, and he brought the shadow 10 degrees backward, by which it had gone down in the dial of Ezra. At that time, Berodach, Baaladin, the son of Baaladin, king of Babylon, sent letters and a present unto King Hezekiah, for he had heard that Hezekiah had been sick. So even the king of Babylon knew about the miracle, and that can be confirmed in verse 2 Chronicles chapter 32, verse 31. So now let us look at how was time affected when the sun was pushed back 10 degrees, or in other words, when the shadow on the sundial was pushed back 10 degrees. And I also like to mention in my King James Bible 1611 that dial translated into Greek means degrees. So that's a good website, and I'm going to put the link in the description box to give us a breakdown of what it means when it went back 10 degrees. So 10 degrees represents 40 minutes or 2/3 of an hour, okay? And we can see that today when the daylight or night becomes longer, and you will see a 40 minutes difference between each month, okay, when this happens. Also, to give you another breakdown, they even go further to give us an idea of how much time that the solar year has accumulated. Let me see, can I find it? I'm going to go up. Here we go. So what he said here, 40 minutes per day times 30 equals 1,200 minute difference per month. Then 1,200 minutes per month times 12 months equals 1,400 minutes difference per year. So if we take 1,400 times 3 years, we get 43,200 minutes difference in 3 years. So how many hours are we talking about? So what he did, he took 43,200 minutes divided by 60, which gives us 720 hours that we lost in 3 years' time. Sorry about that. Let me go down a little bit more. So 720 hours divided by 24 hours in a day equals 30 days. So what he's talking about here is that the solar year was ahead of the moon for 30 days. And this is leading to the next topic in the next video about the 13th month. So in about a 3 years' time, the sun, because the solar year has increased because of the event that happened with King Hezekiah, when he asked for the sign of the sundial and the shadow on the sundial going back 10 degrees. And 10 degrees represent 40 minutes. So you figure out how many minutes and convert it to hours per year, you come to find out in 3-year time, the solar year is ahead of the moon by 30 days. Click on the next video, which is part 18, for a breakdown and discussion of the 13th month. Shalom.